I want to speak about Mikayil Faye. The more I think about this signing, the more it blows my mind. And I'm going to be explaining why I'm saying this and what is the future plans of Mikayil Faye with FC Barcelona. I think that there's a lot to dig into when it comes to this specific signing. And so look, Ten Hag did recruit Lisandro Martinez for 48.5 million euros. Ten Hag, right after, he did say this: left-footed center backs have an advantage in possession because the left-footed are better oriented on the left side. In possession, you then have better angles for playing out. Mikel Arteta also said this: left-footed center backs give him more options and more solutions. And then now we sit here today with Manchester City signing Gvardiol, another left-footed center back. Gvardiol has moved to Manchester City for a 5-year deal for a total of 77.6 million euros. This was a very much demanded signing coming from Pep Guardiola, and for a very big reason. And don't worry, I know all of this does seem very confusing and you're like, what does this have to do with Mikayil Faye? But I don't know if you guys have noticed this type of consistency. The popularity of left-footed center backs is growing, and not just any left-footed center back, because there is a lot, but there is very little left-footed center backs that provide the height, the strength, the ball control, and the long passing range. There's very little of them. Like sometimes teams do find a left-footed center back with ball control, a long passing range, also strong, but he's not tall, aka Lisandro Martinez, or someone who's tall, strong, has great ball control, but is not so good at long range passing. Or it could be another center back that's good at ball control, he's tall, he has the long range passing, but he's not strong. And so there are a lot of center backs that do miss one out of those 4 qualities. But players like Gvardiol does have all those 4 qualities, and that is the reason why Pep Guardiola wants to sign him. I do think that this is going to be coming down to as one of the best signings of this summer because of how well he does fit in Pep Guardiola's system. Look at how in the previous season, Man City's defense was lined up with Stones, Akanji, Ruben Diaz, and Aki. All of those players were center backs. Pep Guardiola even admitted after the Champions League final that with 4 central defenders, they defended much more properly inside the box. He continues to say that it's the biggest step, and now we enjoy defending, and even if we make mistakes, I have the feeling that we are defenders. And this is a huge deal because over the past few years, City were always coming up short in the Champions League because of Guardiola's possession-heavy football, and that was very vulnerable to the counterattacks that the oppositions were providing, and that is how Manchester City were conceding. And throughout those times, Manchester City's defense was lined up with proper fullbacks and proper center backs. There was no such thing as having 4 total center backs in the back line, and that is one of the reasons on why Pep Guardiola did fail in his first 4 to 5 years, is because there were fullbacks in that defensive line. And ever since he made that change of having center backs in the fullbacks position, they won the Champions League, and so that was the clear answer to their problem. And so this was also quoted by The Athletic: Guardiola has came to realize that it is easier to teach defenders to be better in possession than to teach players who are better in possession to defend. Meaning that Pep Guardiola did realize that players like Cancelo and all of his other fullbacks that he has had, he could not transition those players to be better defenders, but he can definitely teach his defenders to be better in possession, which is why he put all of those center backs in the back line, and that is why they were able to be so successful. So I know, and I get it, you guys are probably like, what the heck is going on? Is this like a Manchester City channel, or like what's going on? This is very confusing. Well, now I want to introduce Mikayil Faye. Now seeing that having 4 total center backs in the back line is a solution to a certain problem, I do think that this is going to be the way of football moving forward. Like, we're probably going to still see our traditional fullbacks, no problem, right? But I think that we're going to see this much more consistently on seeing center backs being placed in fullbacks position because it simply brings better results. And I think that Xavi Hernandez does see this. The only reason why Xavi Hernandez has not done this yet fully is because he does not have the proper resources, but we are going towards that route. We are eventually going to get to a point where our Barcelona team will be assembling 4 center backs in the back line. As a matter of fact, we're like 90% finished. Look at how Koundé is playing in the right back position, Araujo and Christensen in the 2 center back positions, and then we have Alejandro Balde, who is a real full back, right? He is a left back, but because of the signing of Mikayil Faye, we could eventually see that player be the, I would say, the replacement to either Christensen and Alejandro Balde, because Faye knows how to play as a left back and as a left center back, and we have heard multiple times of Faye sometimes playing as a full-time left back, right? Like that traditional left fullback that does go up and down the field. Whatever we are going to see with Gvardiol, most likely we will be seeing with Faye, but in about 2 or 3 years. We're not going to see this tomorrow. We're not probably going to see this in the upcoming season. We're probably going to see this by 2025 or 2026, but Barcelona is gearing up towards that, and Faye is the first signing. So I do see Xavi Hernandez saying, okay, our first option in terms of our defense is going to be Koundé, Araujo, Christensen, and Alejandro Balde. Fine, right? That's going to be okay. That's a very strong back line. And then their second option is going to be Mikayil Faye, who is going to be playing in the left back position and replace Alejandro Balde if he ever gets injured or he's just being overused. And then there could be cases where we could put Faye in Christensen's position, make Alejandro Balde go up top, act as a attacker like what we saw in the previous season, and then our back three will be Faye, Araujo, and Koundé. So you can see that it is so clear where Barcelona is going. They just have to build Faye into his best potential, because we know that it is going to be taking some time, but he will get there if he is taught properly. As a matter of fact, he was in the starting 11 for the first preseason game of Barcelona Athletic, and so they really count on this player. They have a lot of faith on this player. And so the similarities between Gvardiol going to Manchester City is so exact to Faye going to FC Barcelona. And if you guys look at these videos, you can also see, right, I have been showing you guys these clips on here for a reason. I want you guys to really see the capabilities that Faye does have compared to Gvardiol. They literally have the exact same capabilities, and many journalists and many of the people that work in the sporting department have said and claimed that Gvardiol is a very hard defender to find. You can't really find his profile, a defender that's so good at long ball distributions, right, being so good at controlling the ball and going into the midfield, being tall, being strong, having speed. You can't find center backs like that. Maybe we could see that in about 6 or 7 years as football does evolve, but as of now, it's very sacred. And lucky for us, we have Deco at the helm, who has been able to scout this player, and he's able to say, hey, look, players like Faye are going to be so needed in the future because of his versatility and what he's capable of. He checks all the boxes just like Gvardiol. Good at long range passing. You see how he makes those passes to Ansu Fati, and he's able to find all of those players up top, very similar to how Gvardiol can find all of those players up top. He's good at controlling the ball, going into the midfield, acting as almost as a fourth midfielder, and of course being very physical at the same time, and you're able to win aerial duels. It's so fascinating to see. And so that is going to be wrapping up today's video. I hope you guys did understand what Barcelona is trying to do with Faye, what they want to build towards to, what type of team they want to be in about 4 to 5 years. And so it should be very interesting. It's going to be an amazing journey. And once again, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next one.